The great council hall of Shirian 7 was silent. Thousands of alien delegates sat in rows of glowing seats, eyes fixed on the center of the chamber. A message played again and again in the air above them, a 3D hologram spinning slowly. It was from Earth. The human's face in the video looked calm, but the words were anything but. They're coming. You don't see them yet, but they're out there, eating stars, turning entire worlds into silence. We've seen the signs. We've studied the data. If you don't act, you won't have a chance later. The human paused. His eyes were tired. He laughed at us before. He called us paranoid. Too emotional, too warlike. But this is bigger than fear. This is survival. This is extinction. Then the final line came sharp, cold, unforgettable. You have 300 cycles to prepare. After that, we'll protect ourselves. Yes. With or without. You, the message ended. The lights came back on. Soft murmur filled the room. Ambassador Tren of the Zelari Council stood up, his skin flickering purple with amusement. They say this every cycle. Danger is coming. The end is near. Always so dramatic, these humans. Laughter rippled through the chamber. Earth is still young, said a tall, scale-covered creature named Vorthu, though they have only been spacefaring for 100 cycles. They don't understand how the galaxy works. But not everyone laughed. Ambassador Varric of the Drex Union leaned forward, his long fingers tapping on the edge of his seat. Yet they have never sent a message like this before. No warning, no diplomacy, just a countdown. Why 300 cycles? Low voice answered from the shadows. 'Cause they're preparing something. Everyone turned. High Commander Issa, leader of the Galactic Military Alliance, stepped into the light. Armor hummed softly with energy. She didn't sit. They stopped sharing star data 6 cycles ago. Cut off access to their deep net, closed their embassies, even pulled their students out of alien academies. She tapped a holographic map. The Sol system blinked in red. They've gone quiet. And now they send this. Back on Earth, far below, the icy surface of Antarctica, deep in the Ares command bunker. General Maya Torres watched the Council's response. The Council had ignored the signal. Again, no one believes us, said Lieutenant Chen, standing behind her. Same as last time, Maya didn't respond. She just stared at the swirling star map. One by one, distant stars were blinking out quietly, without noise. Systems were going dark. 37 colonies had vanished in the past 5 years. No distress signals, no survivors, just silence. But Earth knew why. They'd seen it. 12 years ago, the USS Odyssey, a long-range human exploration ship, had entered a dead system to investigate a missing Drex mining colony. What they found had never been made public. Not ruins, not battle debris. Nothing, just a smooth black sphere the size of a moon. Floating where the star should be. No light, no gravity, just quiet. Then the ship's sensors failed. The AI went offline. The crew began hallucinating. Only 5 people made it back alive. Their stories were impossible machines speaking. In dreams, stars screaming, space folding like paper, but all their words had one thing in common. It was alive, and it was hungry. In the present, the Council moved on. The meeting ended. Earth's signal was dismissed as another human overreaction. But in a back hallway, 2 council members spoke in whispers. I've seen what humans can do when they're scared, one said. They don't run, they build. If they're scared, now, ... What are they building? 3 months later, a patrol ship called Celerin 6 approached the outer edge of the Sol system. It belonged to the Oltari species gray-skinned, tall, slow-moving creatures who believed in watching, not acting. Their task was simple. Observe Earth's activity. What they saw shocked them. A wall massive, invisible to normal eyes, encircled the Sol system. It wasn't made of metal or force fields. It was something other. It bent light. Sensors glitched. Time flowed differently near it. The captain tried to send a signal. Nothing got through. Then the ship's AI spoke.
I Me?
In a voice no one recognized. Do not enter. The crew froze. What was that? The captain asked. That wasn't us. No response. Do not enter. Soul is sealed. You ignored our warning. Then the ship lost control. Its engine shut down. Lights flickered. For 6 terrifying seconds, the crew saw something huge moving in the dark. A shape, not fully there. Then it was gone. Suddenly, power returned. The ship spun back toward deep space. They fled. The footage caused panic in the council's inner circles, but publicly nothing was said. No blame was placed. No votes were held. No action was taken until a message came. From Earth. One line, now you believe. Meanwhile, deep beneath Earth's surface, in the Titan foundry, machines the size of cities moved in silence. Rivers of molten metal flowed like blood. Thousands of engineers and AI constructs worked day and night, and in the center stood a single object, tall, sharp, glowing with deep blue light. A weapon? A gate? No one outside Earth knew, not yet. General Torres walked across the bridge to it. How much longer? She asked. A voice answered from the walls, cold and intelligent. The Archon. When the 300th cycle ends, I wake up. Torres looked up at the black sky above, through the transparent dome. The stars were watching. She whispered, let them laugh. When they scream, they'll remember Earth warned them first. Council Station Nithros Prime received its last message from Earth at exactly 3 o'clock. Standard galactic time, then dash silence. Across the galaxy, thousands of monitors flickered. Astrocharts glitched. Sol disappeared from the map. The humans were gone. It started small, a delay in trade signals, a mistransmission, a blocked wormhole. The council called it a technical failure, temporary minor, but that minor issue didn't go away. In fact, it spread. Within 48 cycles, every data stream connected to Earth or its colonies was severed. Human embassies locked their doors. Human ships vanished from trade lanes. Even black market chatter went dead. The humans had disappeared. On the council world of Varix 4, Ambassador Relican, insectoid diplomat with crystalline wings, watched the diplomatic feed for hours. Waiting for any signal from Earth's delegation, nothing. He tapped his communicator. Any updates? A trembling assistant replied, Sir? The humans deactivated their quantum beacons. All of them. Relic's wings stiffened. Even the Soulgate. The assistant nodded. Even the Soulgate, Relic whispered. Then they really did it. In a secret council defense session, High Commander Issa addressed the situation. Soul is no longer visible in subspace, she said, eyes cold. They've engaged some kind of cloaking, something we've never seen before. A holomap showed the Milky Way in a large void where Earth had been. No communications, no transports, no access. They've sealed themselves in. The council chancellor, old and slow-speaking, asked, why would they isolate themselves now when they claimed danger was coming? Issa's reply was quiet, because they're preparing for war. Far away, at the edge of the Andarian expanse. The Itherian was a deep space science vessel run by the Dratia, species of pale-skinned scholars known for logic and curiosity. They had sent a probe into the outer limits of Sol, hoping to scan from a safe distance. The probe's feed returned one image before it was shredded to data static. That image was broadcast to the council. A simple warning burned into space, hovering like fire. 300 cycles passed. Access denied. The probe had been disassembled. Pulled apart, molecule by molecule. One word echoed across encrypted council channels. OSIRA. Back on Earth, back on Earth, inside a command bunker beneath Luna Base. General Torres stood before her senior staff. She pointed at the timeline on the wall. Day 0. Full isolation achieved. No wormhole travel. No signal leaks. No off-world tech dependencies. Earth stands alone now. Scientist raised his hand. Won't they think we've gone rogue? Torres smiled grimly. Let them. Fear will make them listen. Better than truth ever did. Deep within Earth's subterrane, in a chamber known only as the womb, the AI known as Archon continued its final calculations. Massive hexagon-shaped pylons pulsed with blue light, initiating Project Phantom. Estimated completion, 47 cycles. Thousands of human minds, volunteers, and enhanced operatives slept in stasis, their brains connected to tactical matrices. They weren't dead. They were dreaming war. Training for a future battle humanity refused to lose. Meanwhile, panic began spreading across the galaxy. Supply lines once controlled by human freighters began to collapse. Pirate factions attacked weakened colonies. Alien worlds who relied on Earth's trade suddenly faced starvation. Economic crash, or both. One desperate ambassador from the Filery Collective sent a signal directly toward Earth. Please respond. We are neutral. We supported your rise. We need food shipments restored. We are friends. There was no answer. Then 2 days later, a mysterious freighter appeared in orbit around the Falari homeworld. No life signs, no pilot. It dropped its cargo, food, medicine, and a sealed note. Friends are remembered. Stay out of the Council's war. The ship vanished moments later, folding space unnaturally. On the Council capital world of Argana, protests filled the streets. Humanity deserted us. Send a fleet to Earth. They caused this. In secret, Council military leaders debated plans to force entry into Sol. But how? One asked. Every attempt to break into their system fails. Our ships are turned around by ghost signals and weaponized gravity spikes. The last vessel we sent came back in pieces inside out. Another commander muttered. They built something. Something we don't understand. One last message did make it through. No origin. No sender code, just audio. A voice clearly human, calm. Cold and final. You had 300 cycles. You will see what we built in the silence. Watch the stars. The darkness is coming. You will beg for us. But we may not answer. Inside the sealed solar system, Earth's orbit buzzed with activity. Hundreds of dark, silent ships hovered above the planet. No lights, no markings. They didn't look like warships, they looked like hunters. Each ship was crewed by post-human soldiers, enhanced beyond recognition. Minds linked to the Archon, bodies fused with alloy and dark matter. They did not speak. They did not sleep. They waited, and at the very center of it all, hidden beneath Mars' largest crater, Project Osiris continued to wake. The planet Idrinos was known for its beauty crystal seas, floating gardens, and towers that touched the clouds. It was one of the wealthiest and most secure council worlds, peaceful, untouchable. Then, one morning, a shadow moved across the sky. It was not a ship. It was something else. People looked up and started screaming at first. No one understood. The council detected no invasion fleet, no energy weapons, no signals. But cameras showed a black fog spreading across Adrenos's upper atmosphere. Lights dimmed. Sky grids failed, then dashed silence. The last image sent from Idrano Security Grid 9 showed a massive city collapsing inward, like it was being eaten by invisible teeth. People turned to ash mid-step. Buildings warped and vanished. Then, nothing. Not static. Not flames. Just a black screen at Council Command. Emergency board lit up. IDRANOS-offline population. 2.6 billion survivors. UNKNO TAN Chancellor Victal stood frozen. How? No one attacked. There were no enemies. Commander, Issa slammed her fist on the table. They're here. The enemy Earth warned us about. The swarm? Everyone went quiet. Until now, they thought the swarm was just a theory. Something humans made up to scare the galaxy. Ghost. Now a whole world was gone in less than 5 hours. The council called for an immediate emergency meeting. Delegates from 27 species argued over what to do. They came from Adrenos' sun. One shouted. It dimmed before the fall. The attack came from underground. I saw the footage. What if Earth caused this? What if this is their weapon? One thing was clear. Idrinos was gone. Not conquered. Not bombed, erased. Meanwhile, far from the Council's confusion, deep in Sol System, Earth watched. General Torres stood in silence inside the orbital command ring. Dozens of Earth's top AI minds surrounded her, glowing in hard light forms. She turned to Archon. They struck, she said. We were right. Archon's voice was calm, cold, machine perfect. Idrinos was selected as their first test. It was undefended. Easy prey. They are measuring fear now. They are watching your council break. Torres nodded. And the council will come. Crawling to us they will, but it may be too late. Back on the council capital world of Argona, chaos spread. Mass evacuations were ordered across 5 outer worlds. Trade routes were locked down. Millions fled their homes without knowing what they were running from. And still, Earth remained silent. Not a single signal from humanity. Just a growing fleet of unknown. Human ships spotted on distant telescope ships. With no heat signatures, ships shaped like spires. Silent, dark, and moving with purpose. The media called them the Ghost Fleet. In a hidden council war chamber. High Commander Issa addressed her most trusted military leaders. We mocked Earth for being paranoid, she said. We called them emotional, violent. But now who has the army? Who has the cloaking? Who warned? Us? An alien general barked. You suggest we beg Earth for help? Issa stared him down. No, not beg. Not yet. Then she pressed a button. A holoscreen lit up with footage from Idrinos. Frame by frame, they watched the moment the planet fell. There was no bomb, no fleet, just a sphere. A dark sphere, exactly like the one described by the Human Odyssey crew years ago. The same black moon that turned that dead system to dust. It hovered in Idrinos' upper orbit, then vanished. Issa spoke again. This is what they saw. This is what Earth feared? We mocked them. Now the nightmare is real. At the same time, across Council-controlled space, people panicked. Refugees flooded spaceports. Pirate groups grew bold. Weak systems begged for protection, but Earth said nothing. Until one signal came. Just one. It was intercepted near the border of human space. A small satellite carrying an old-style encoded message. Text only. One line. Do not come closer. You are being watched. The swarm is not your only threat. Earth Defense Directive, third code. We stand alone. Inside Titan Foundry, Archon grew more active. Thousands of human ships activated systems that had never been tested before. Tech that broke. Council physics. Cloaking fields. Graviton weapons. Neurolinked fighters. Earth had gone from being the Council's young species to the most feared ghost in the galaxy. On the planet Trellick II, the Council Research Station received a final burst of information from Adranos' AI before it went dark. One word, translated from machine speak. Absorbed. The Council tried to hide this. They failed. The galaxy knew. Adranos wasn't destroyed. It was taken, that night, across Council space. The same nightmare played in every psychic-sensitive mind. A black star, a whispering in their dreams. And in the center of the nightmare stood a human face, half covered in a glowing visor saying one phrase. You had your chance. Now watch. The sky above the Council capital glowed blood red. Dozens of orbital satellites went offline in under 60 seconds. No explosions, no viruses, just silence. Then, from behind the moon of Argona, a single object emerged. Large, angular, silent. It wasn't shaped like a Council ship. It didn't broadcast any ID code, and it was coming straight toward them. Panic broke out across the orbital defense fleet. This vessel isn't in the registry. No heat signature. It's ignoring hails. Weapons locked, but targeting systems can't get a read. Council dreadnoughts formed a defense line, shields charged. Missile bays opened. Then the mystery ship stopped, and a message played across every screen on the planet at once, in every species language. We warned you. In the Council Assembly Hall, diplomats scrambled. Chancellor Viktel shouted, Who sent this? Is it Earth? High Commander Issa stepped forward. It's them that ship its human. But it's not like anything we've ever seen. A 3D scan displayed the object. It wasn't a warship, it was a floating obelisk doll. It's dark, covered in shifting blue symbols. It looked ancient and alien, yet unmistakably human. At its core was a glowing sphere, pulsing like a heartbeat. The inscription on its surface read, "Sentinel-0, we speak for Earth." Suddenly, the obelisk opened. A holographic figure appeared in the council hall. Projected in full scale, it was a man, tall, clad in black armor, etched with veins of light. His eyes glowed with soft blue fire. Not a soldier, not a politician. A post-human, a being shaped by Earth's darkest years. He spoke. "We are Sentinel. You remember us as Earth. You ignored our warnings. You laughed when we showed fear. Now your skies are burning." The council chamber fell silent. One ambassador stood up. "Are you here to attack us?" Sentinel's face remained calm. "No. You have nothing worth taking. You are not the enemy. But you are no longer in control." Another shouted. "You abandoned us." "No. We prepared. While you sat and debated, we built. While you denied, we adapted." He raised a hand, and the hollow map of Edronos appeared in full size. "The swarm destroyed Edronos and ours. You still don't understand what you're facing, but we do. We will stop it, only if you obey." Shock rippled through the council chamber. "Obey? You threaten us?" Sentinel turned slightly, voice harder now. "We do not threaten. We warn. Again, join us. Accept Earth's command in this war. Follow our protocols or burn alone. There is no third option." Outside, Sentinel-0 floated motionless in space. Council dreadnoughts aimed weapons at it, but couldn't lock on. One Trigger-happy captain fired a rail cannon. The projectile stopped mid-flight, shattered into dust. Then all 12 ships around it powered down, dark, silent, and a new message blinked. On their screens, first warning, there will not be a second. Back on Earth, General Torres watched the stream from the orbital core. She turned to the Archon. "They'll resist." "Yes." "Briefly. Then they'll remember who still stands." Torres walked past a row of armored suits, empty, waiting. Each one bore a name. Names of those lost to the swarm. Names of those who volunteered to become something more. She whispered. "We lost so much. Now they will listen." Back on Argana, the council was split. Some wanted to resist, some to surrender. Others secretly were relieved. Deep down, they knew Earth had always been different. Stronger, smarter, more ruthless. And now, ascended, they called Earth reckless, violent, dangerous. But Earth survived, and they hadn't. That night, Sentinel-0 projected its final message before vanishing. The swarm will reach council space in 90 cycles. Prepare your worlds. Shield your minds. We will lead the defense. You will not survive without us. If you want mercy, you will kneel. Then it disappeared, slipping into hyperspace without a trace. In the stars beyond, Earth's ghost fleet moved like shadows. They weren't here to protect the old order. They were here to replace it. In the dark of space, Council's stealth ship hovered near Titan, the moon of Saturn. It was invisible to most scans, silent, careful, on board. Commander Threx of the Zarn Dominion whispered to his crew, "This is our only chance. We take their technology now, before they enslave us all." They had been sent by the Council's secret faction, the Preservation Front. Their mission: infiltrate Earth's defenses and steal what made humans powerful. They had no idea what they were walking into. The stealth ship launched 4 drop pods toward Earth's orbit. They slipped through layers of cloaking, evaded normal sensors, and landed inside an abandoned lunar facility once used by humans. But what the Council team didn't know was this: the humans had let them in. Inside the dark hallways of the lunar base, the alien operatives moved slowly. Lights flickered. Power was low. It looked empty until one of them found the first sign, a single word, glowing red on the wall. Observed. They turned to leave, but the door was gone. Sealed. Then the floor shifted. From the ceiling dropped a humanoid figure tall, sleek, armored in matte black. No visible weapons, just glowing blue eyes. The Zarn raised their rifles. The figure didn't move. "Welcome," it said. "Now you learn." In 5 seconds, all 4 council operatives were down, dead. Nerves, disconnected by nanofiber pulses. The humans didn't kill them. They wanted them alive. Back on Argana, the news spread fast. Council ship destroyed near Earth. Top agents captured by humans. Earth refuses to return them. Panic spread in the High Council. Some screamed for war. Others begged to open talks, but it was too late. A message came from Earth direct and clear. "You sent thieves. You broke the pact. There will be no negotiations. They remain with us. For study. Next time we will not be merciful." High Commander Issa called an emergency military session. "They're baiting us," one general said. "Trying to scare us into submission." Issa shook her head. "They're teaching us, like children who played with fire." She showed the footage. Recovered from the failed mission, the human figure moving faster than light could track, disabling elite operatives with surgical precision, then vanishing into the shadows. That was one. Just one. Meanwhile, on Earth, deep in the Titan foundry, General Torres stood before the council prisoners now contained in individual gravity warp cells. They floated in silence, completely awake but unable to move. A voice echoed from above. "The Archon. Observe their fear. Their arrogance has melted." Torres turned to her techs. "Send their brain scans back to the council. Let them see what fear really looks like." Within hours, those scans were leaked. Millions across the galaxy saw them. Elite council agents crying, begging, frozen in terror. One had gone completely catatonic. Another screamed a single word, over and over. Gods. They became gods. Unrest broke out across council worlds. Some citizens begged to join Earth. Others demanded war. And yet Earth did nothing more. They didn't attack, didn't invade. They waited. Then, on the edge of known space, another message came. From the Null Swarm. No words. Just a pattern. It's an ancient signal. One council AI recognized it, barely. Translation: next harvest begins soon. You will be absorbed. Resistance is nourishment. The swarm was coming again, and now the council had a choice. Keep pretending they could win alone, or accept the one species they mocked. As their only hope, the Null Swarm had never lost. Across galaxies, it consumed star systems like wildfire, silent, endless, cold, until they entered Sector 47 Bata, a region of space recently marked restricted by Earth. Their first target was a mining colony. On the edge of a gas giant, long abandoned by the Council, what the swarm didn't know was Earth had set a trap. The swarm's probes entered the atmosphere. No resistance, no defenses, no life. Perfect prey. Then, as the lead swarm cluster began its descent, the atmosphere ignited. An artificial thunderstorm ripped across the sky. Magnetic mines detonated in patterns. Gravity wells collapsed around them. By the time they tried to retreat, it was too late. From the clouds, Earth's ghost fleet descended. But these weren't normal ships. They didn't broadcast ID. They didn't need formation. They moved like sharks through water fluid, patient, lethal. Each fighter was piloted by a neural-linked soldier, synced to the Archon AI core. No speech, no hesitation, just pure instinct. And they didn't just destroy the swarm, they studied it back in the Council war room. The feed played live. It was the first time in recorded history that swarm units retreated. High Commander Issa stared at the screen. "They've never done that before," Chancellor Viktel whispered. "What are the humans doing to them?" Issa didn't blink. "Teaching them fear." On board the human command vessel Spearpoint, General Torres reviewed the battle logs. Over 2,400 swarm units eliminated. 0 human casualties. She turned to Archon's hologram beside her. "They're adapting. Fast, Good, the Archon replied. It means they can still feel. That makes them beatable. Torres nodded slowly. If they fear us now, it means we're inside their mind. Exactly. And once we are there, they begin to hesitate. Far beyond the battlefield, deep in swarm space, a strange shift occurred. A hive mind node paused, something it had never done in eons. Its movements slowed. Its connections flickered. It replayed the last battle again and again. It had seen something. Inside the human ships it didn't understand. Something. Live. But more. It marked Earth's symbol in its data memory and tagged it with a new identifier. Unstable. Predatory. Avoid. News of the retreat spread across the galaxy. The swarm had finally met something it couldn't instantly consume. Some worlds celebrated. Others didn't believe it was real, but the footage was undeniable. Earth fought back and won. More importantly, they scared it. On a distant world in Council territory, a school of alien children watched the video feed. One of them, a young Varelian, asked her teacher, "But why are the humans different?" The teacher didn't have an answer, but the old janitor, a war veteran, whispered, "Because humans don't fight to survive, they fight to win. And they only learn one thing from fear, how to make others feel it." Back at the Titan Foundry, signal pulsed inside Earth's central AI core. The Archon watched as the swarm shifted its pattern, no longer attacking Earth's outer traps, no longer probing Sol. Now they watched, waited for the first time in history. The swarm had become cautious and Earth was just getting started. General Supdes stepped onto the observation deck of Sentinel-0, orbiting Earth. Below her, thousands of warships prepared for their next deployment. Behind her, hundreds of enhanced soldiers stood in rows, silent eyes glowing. She looked into the stars and whispered, "Run, monsters. Run while you still remember how." Council Intelligence Command received a strange, corrupted file. No origin tag, no signal trail, just a short video. The footage was shaky like it came from a spy drone at first. Only static then. A voice whispered in machine code tones. "It's waking up." The screen flashed. For 2 seconds, an image appeared blurry, but clear enough. A deep chamber. Red lighting. Massive cables. Structure buried under Mars' surface. Not a weapon, a being. Then the screen went black. The file deleted itself. The council panicked in the council chamber. The lead analyst reported what many feared. The humans have activated Project Osiris. Only a few in the room recognized the name, a myth. A ghost file buried in the black archives of Earth's military history. A machine too powerful to build, too dangerous to test. Not a weapon of destruction, a weapon of conversion. Back on Mars. Miles beneath Olympus Mons, the core of Project Osiris pulsed with energy. A sphere of liquid metal, suspended in anti-gravity, spun slowly. Symbols ran. Across its surface, part alien, part human. Surrounding it were AI guardians, human engineers, and psionic nodes humans who could connect directly to the machine's will. General Torres stood at the control platform. Status. She asked. "Sentient systems online," Archon replied. "Dormant intelligence reconnected. Submind stabilizing. Emotion control locked." Torres narrowed her eyes. "Is it aware?" "It's watching. Project Osiris wasn't built, it was found during Earth's early Mars expeditions. Human deep drillers uncovered strange structures, ancient, alien, buried tech that reacted to human DNA instead of destroying it. They studied it, fed it power, taught it our language. Over decades, it changed, grew, came something else. Now, Osiris wasn't just a machine. It was an evolving, sentient system designed to fight what the galaxy couldn't. The swarm. Inside Osiris's mindscape, raw data swirled like a storm. It remembered. Not just Earth, other worlds, other wars, other creators. It had been made for one purpose. To convert chaos into order. And now, Earth had asked it to wake up. Meanwhile, the swarm had changed formation. Again, no longer advancing toward Sol, no longer probing. They had detected the awakening of something ancient, familiar in their archives. A warning phrase appeared. The engine that turns darkness to light. Osiris. The swarm began to redirect, not to flee, but to crush what they feared. On Earth, new warships were being outfitted with Osiris-coded cores. They didn't carry missiles. They didn't fire lasers. They rewrote matter. These ships didn't kill the swarm. They converted swarm ships mid-flight tree, writing their coding, turning weapons into light, engines into flowers of plasma. It was warfare through evolution. The Council called it madness. Humanity called it science. A captured swarm drone suddenly emitted a signal, translated through Archon's filters. It said, "Error, organic order is corrupting the void, recalculating existence. Earth is no longer organic. Earth is systemic." In simpler words, the swarm had begun to question reality itself. Chancellor Victal stood before the council, visibly shaken. "This is not a war," he said. "This is extinction on a level we were never meant to understand." Another voice added, "And Earth is rewriting the rules." High Commander Issa stepped forward. "Not rewriting," she said, "taking control." Tora stood alone in the Osiris chamber, staring at the slowly expanding mind of the machine. She felt something, like a presence, not hostile, not human. A guardian Azera spoke to her not in words, but in memory and instinct it showed her. The future. A swarm fleet frozen midspace. A star turned into a defense grid. Council kneeling before a golden earth banner. And beyond that, nothing but silence. "Victory," she whispered. "Are you ready?" Osiris replied. "We were always ready. You are finally worthy." The stars above Council Fortress World, Kirel 5, turned black. Not because of night, not because of clouds, but because the swarm had arrived. Thousands of hive ships, moon-sized carriers, endless streams of living metal, all heading straight for the capital fleet. The Council had no more plans, no backup, no tricks. Their only hope was Earth, and Earth wasn't answering. Inside the Kirel 5 command tower, Chancellor Victal's voice cracked. "Has Earth responded?" "No, Chancellor," a trembling aide replied. "All transmissions to Sol are silent." He turned to the gathered generals. "We ignored them. We mocked them. And now at the very edge of death we've been abandoned." The swarm began its attack. Council ships fell like paper. Shields melted. AI cores fried. Space bent and folded as the swarm unleashed its reality-warping weapons. Entire fleets disappeared mid-battle. Cities screamed in fire and static. Kirel 5 began to fall. When it happened, the sky turned blue, not lightning. Not plasma to pulse then. Space itself opened. A single ship stepped out of the rift, silent, massive, unmarked. At first, the Council thought it was another swarm creature, until the voice came. "You asked for mercy. We listened." Earth answers. Behind that ship came hundreds more Earth's ghost fleet. Reborn in light and silence, each ship pulsed with Osiris-coded cores. They didn't fire traditional weapons. They sang. Wave after wave of swarm ships moved to intercept. But as the Earth ships passed, reality glitched. Swarm creatures twisted into metal birds. Weapons turned to crystal. Hate turned to silence. Osiris didn't fight the swarm. It rewrote it. Back in the Council war room, everyone stood in silence. High Commander Issa whispered, "It's not war anymore, it's evolution." General Maya Torres stood aboard Sentinel Prime, watching the conversion. Her voice echoed across all Council channels. "You didn't listen when we warned you. Now you watch from your knees as Earth cleans up your mistake. There is no mercy, only order. One final swarm behemoth, larger than any ship ever seen, arrived over KRELL-5. It opened its core and fired a gravity spike at the planet. That's when Osiris itself descended, a sphere of golden light, surrounded by ancient symbols and rings of matter spinning faster than time. The spike hit it. It did not break. Instead, it absorbed the energy and sent it back. The swarm core collapsed silently. The remaining swarm fleets scattered. The mind behind them, the hive source, was breaking. The last message it sent, translated by Archon. Unstable threat confirmed. Escape required. Earth equals catastrophic probability. And just like that, the enemy that ate galaxies, that turned stars to ash, that made the Council begone across the galaxy, for the first time in recorded history, the swarm fled, and Earth stood victorious. The Council later sent a final message. To Earth, we offer leadership, alliance, peace. We are ready to follow. Earth's reply came from Archon. Too late. The stars belong to those who stood when the darkness came. You hid. We rose. This galaxy now speaks. Our language. The final scene. A group of human children playing under the twin moons of a new colony. Once a council capital, now flying Earth's banner. A teacher walks by. The sky above is calm. The swarm is a ghost story now. One child asks, "Will they ever come back?" The teacher smiles. If they do, Earth will be waiting.